this is fun. Have you done an Amazon Live before?
I have not.
Oh,
No.
fun. You'll have to come back we'll do a coffee chat. And I'm always like, let's do more. I'm always wanting people to jump on and talk coffee and books with me. So, okay. Hey Amazon, welcome back, and YouTube, Facebook, all the places you're watching from. Today I'm so excited to talk to Misty Walker about her newest book, Gracie's Mom. This is an age gap romance, so good, so steamy, and I loved it so much. You're going to love it too. So I had all the cozy vibes reading this of, just Washington and all the, I don't know, I just loved this main character because we're around the same age, and I loved it. So welcome, Misty, to the show. I cannot wait to talk about your new book.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name is Misty Walker. I live in Reno, Nevada. I've been writing for a little over 3 years now, which does not feel like, I still feel like a newbie, I guess.
Which is crazy because your books are fantastic. You guys, Misty's books are so good and she markets so well. I was just telling her before we were going live that I just, the details, it's all in the details. And your books are like an experience. So if you guys read in digital, you can grab it below or you can grab the paperback. But the paperback is so beautiful. Her formatting is just phenomenal. I love like the heart, all the details of this new series, The Songs of Sin. So I know you started out as a PA and then merged into writing. So tell us a little bit about your journey from personal assistant to writing these phenomenal books.
Well, about 10 years ago, I got really, really sick. I had autoimmune diseases creeping up and all kinds of just really severe issues that were causing me to be basically an invalid. I had to be in bed all the time. And so I picked up a book for the first time since high school. And I read a book a day for probably 3 or 4 years. And I got involved in all the groups on Facebook, and a friend of mine that I'd met in the book community asked me if I wanted to help out with her book blog, so I started doing that. And then I met some really fantastic authors who were in need of some help. So I jumped in and started doing PA work. I did that for a long time. I also started proofing audiobooks. So I was working for a couple different audiobook companies. I was doing PA work, super involved in the book world. And I always just had book ideas, And finally one day I just sat down and wrote my first. And I didn't know if I would ever publish it. I made a few of my author friends read it first. And they were like, "No, it's good. It's good. You should publish." So I finally got the gall to do it.
Oh, I'm so glad you did. So I first cut my teeth on your biker books. Okay, I'm an MC reader, and I know we both share a love for Kristen Ashley, and I have loved biker books since hers, and I remember finishing all her MC, which they call it motorcycle club books, and I was looking for more, and I stumbled upon yours and fell down a rabbit hole and read your biker series, and I loved it because these are darker than Kristen. And I would
darker.
Go, ooh, Misty, this is good. And so Misty toes the line with her biker books. She has zing steam, funny sometimes because I have a dark humor problem, and I love your plots on these. And so where did your inspiration come behind, Birdie's Biker, all of these biker books, which, by the way, the last one I read, Petra's, was my favorite.
Yeah. I still think Bexley's is my favorite because I love Con so much. He is my type,
Yeah.
So I liked him. I like their book the best. But I'm a huge SOA fan. I'm a huge motorcycle romance fan. I almost strictly listen to audiobooks, and I own so many motorcycle romance books, it's not even funny. I can't stop. So it was kind of like a natural progression for me.
I love that. I do too. And I just loved your books so much. Okay, Now I'm gonna mix them up, but there was one that which one was the age gap where she was the kid? That
Uh,
was Truly?
Truly.
Truly. Okay,
Yeah.
that one I love too. So this one I read on Kindle and I read the paperback because I just loved it. I love that story. At first I was like, oh, she's a kid. And then, I mean, I don't know, you made it work and it was so good. And then, of course, your first one, Birdies, I was like, Misty, she's in a cage.
I know.
It. Like you somehow make these books so dark and so good. Like you fall in love with these bad boy characters, and you've got that MC trope. Like you're the queen of MC trope.
Oh, thank
I
you.
mean, so good. You and Kay Webster. I loved the series you did. You did with her too.
Yeah.
Can't say the word, the royal, whatever. But Amazon will censor us, and you know. Anyway, you know what I mean. So, when you were writing Gracie's Mom, where did the inspiration for this one come from?
So I was in the shower one day and the song Stacy's Mom came on. And as I'm like rocking out, doing my white girl dance in the shower, I thought, this would make a really good book. And then I thought about all of the other songs that have like forbidden relationships that would make really good books. So I started listing them all out, and the idea just kind of came to me. I'm known for more like dark and, you know, um, so I didn't know how well it would be received by my readers, but I wrote it in between all of my other books. I had so much fun. I just had so much fun. And I wrote it in Bremerton, Washington, I spent 20 years of my life there. So it was kind of fun, like going back there. And yeah, I just decided to release it because I thought it's honestly my favorite book. I feel most connected to this book out of all of my books.
I mean, it's such a taboo age gap, but
Yeah.
it was so sweet. It was like that hug book that you need. And I'm a
Yeah.
reader, so I'll read, dark romance, and then I'll write like small town steamy romance, and then I'll be like, now I need something bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
You need a book in between. If you're a dark romance reader, or maybe you like taboo romance, that's your trope. This is going to be it's going to hit all the spots. I feel like you're going to it's taboo,
Yeah.
but it's so steamy. And you, no pun intended, nail the steamy scenes.
Yeah, it's for sure my steamiest book. I wanted it to be like a palate cleanser, like you said, because that's how I read. I do the dark and then I go for something light. Like I just finished probably one of the darkest series I've ever listened to. And then I switched right to Vi Keeland and Penelope Ward, one of their books, because those are like the perfect palate cleansers. And that's kind of like what I hope this book is just something fun, and it'll keep you warm at night.
I love all the food in there. I could just feel being in Washington reading this, and that's what I love, when an author can take me to a new place and make me feel a town, feel a place, and I love that. And so there's a little angst in here too. I just want to give that kid a hug, man. I'm like, you went through so much.
I know, huh? Yeah, Dax. And, the forbidden element is that there's the mom and her daughter's in college, and the mom falls in love with her daughter's college roommate. But the daughter also has feelings for the roommate, so it made it super angsty. And yeah, I wanted to give both Gracie and Dax hugs because they both went through some stuff.
They really did. They really did. So, when you started reading back in the day, what was your favorite thing to read?
I went right to romance. That's what I read when I was younger, so I just went right there. But I did start out with like easier, like Robin Carr and that kind of stuff
Yeah.
before I started to find indie authors. And indie authors is where I really found like my happy place, because I felt like there weren't as many boundaries. Things weren't like so much played by the rules. you know, you got really super interesting plot lines that I feel like with traditional publishing, the publishers don't really grasp. So yeah, that's where I
Feel the
started.
same, and that's why I started this show, because I wanted people to find more indie published romance authors, because indie is just there. You can color outside the lines. In fact, I don't think there
Yeah.
are lines. There's no lines.
No, there
We can do whatever
aren't.
we want. And Trad has so many rules, and sometimes I feel like, I hope I don't get in trouble for saying this. I don't really care, but I feel like Trad washes it down too much. And
Yeah, yeah,
you know, when you read a book and you're like, wow, I cannot believe she went there. You rarely have that feeling when you read a trad book. You have that
right.
feeling all the time when
Yeah.
you read an indie book. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need for escapism right now is I want to like finish a book and put it down and go, wow, she really went there. And then I like
Yeah.
tell my husband about it, and poor him, he's like, what are we talking about? And then like halfway through he realizes it's a book. So, you
Your
know,
life.
where you're doing dishes or doing laundry and you can't stop thinking about a book, or for me, it was like, I can't stop thinking, now I want to go to Washington.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll skip the ferry, you know, where all the violence happens, but, you know, now I'm like, oh no, I want to go in the cozy, rainy, you know, I want to like go to those places in books and feel all those feels. And so, I agree. So who are your top favorite, if you had to pick 5 indie authors, who would you pick?
Ooh. Okay, so everybody calls me Dory because I have the memory of that fish. I don't remember things unless it just happened to me. So, currently my favorite
Currently.
authors are Trisha Wolfe
Okay.
because that was the Dark series that I just got done listening to, and it was a psychological thriller romance, blew my mind. So, she's for sure on the list. C.M. Nacosta because she released a book called Morning Glory Milking Farm. I don't know if you know about that book. We won't talk about it here, but
I heard you talk
amazing.
on your podcast though.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Over and
did
over
talk
and
about
over.
that on your podcast, and I was like, holy cow, that sounds good.
It's so good. Um, J.L. Seegers, she wrote a book called Restore Me. That one was really, really good. Um, K. Webster,
Yeah.
obviously.
And you have written one of the most beautiful books I have ever seen with Kay Webster. I love this book. I was really embarrassed when I came up. I'm really introverted and shy, so when I came up to meet you at the book signing, I was like, yeah, I want to buy that. And you're like, who are you? I'm like,
Again,
nobody.
boring.
No, but look at this book. It is so beautiful, you guys. This is beautiful. Um, what is your website? I forgot. Misty Walker.
MistyWalker.com.
AuthorMistyWalker.com. You can read more about her books there too, and Amazon. Also follow Misty here on Amazon so you don't miss out on any of her upcoming releases. But is this one on Amazon?
That one is not on Amazon because it's actually 4 books combined.
Cool.
So you get 2 books from Kay Webster and 2 books from me.
And I love these. You guys did such a good job together on this book. The marketing is just phenomenal.
Yeah, yeah, that one's really special because Kay Webster and I have been such good friends for so long, and it was the first like project that we kind of grouped
Yeah.
together for, and we just had a blast.
And she does your covers, right?
She does do most of my covers.
Yeah. So
And even when I have a cover designer, I feel like every time I've had a cover designer, it's always gone wrong, and she's done my covers. So
she's phenomenal. I think she did this one, right?
yeah, she did that one.
She's so talented. She just is one of the most giving people I've ever met, and
She really is.
such a good person. And so love her stuff too. That's a good list. I love your podcast too. So if you guys love podcasts, I listen to it on Spotify. What is the name of it?
It's called Open Book Besties. We're taking just a little bit of a breather right now, but we should be back after the 1st of October with new
Nice.
episodes. But we
I
have like a
always,
whole worth of episodes
Yeah,
up
you
there.
guys can go back and binge listen to all their episodes. I love when you guys say, "What are you guys reading right now?" I'm always like taking notes.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you listen? I love audiobooks too. I didn't think I liked audiobooks because I wasn't listening to the right ones, I think. And then I fell down a rabbit hole, and now I always have a physical book, a Kindle book, and an audiobook going. So
Yeah. I'm an audiobook junkie. I'm so incredibly busy. I know you can relate to that, that by the end of the day, the second I open a book, I just knock right out. But while I'm getting ready, while I'm driving, while I'm doing admin work, I always have an audiobook going.
isn't that fun when you always have an audiobook going and you go to get in the car with the kids and it connects and it's at that point
Oh,
and
that's
you're
the
like,
worst.
and you're scrambling to turn it off. You're like, plug your ears.
The worst was when I went to the car wash, okay? And I was listening to, have you ever read Sierra Simone's Priest?
No, but I know what that book's about.
Okay, it's very explicit. It's, that is anyway. So I go through the car wash and I pull off to the side so they can like vacuum it and, wipe it off and stuff. But when you open the door, it automatically like connects to the Bluetooth. And so it did that, and it was a busy place. Like I wasn't even paying attention. I was just scrolling on my phone. And
Yeah.
all of a sudden I heard Zachary Weber's voice. And I was like, what are the odds? What are the odds? There are teenagers wiping my car down while Sierra Simone's Priest was playing.
Yeah.
It was mortifying. And then Bremerton's kind of a smallish town, so one of the kids was one of my kid's teacher's son. And I knew that because I was super involved at the school at the time and I'd seen him around, and I just pulled one of these, got in my car, drove away.
Oh my gosh. I just own it. My kids know I write romance. My daughter wanted to read my book. I was like, absolutely not. Now it looks real. It has scenes in it. I mean, I had to I gave her one. I'm like, just skip over them because honestly, Misty, when you were 13, did you steal your mom's romance books and read them?
My daughter, she's 13, she reads romance.
Oh, I'm like, well, I mean, okay. I mean, I don't know what to say, but
Yeah.
I just always tell my kids, oh, it's romance. I love romance, and I write romance, so it is what it is. I know I was nervous to send you my book because I know you read like more darker romance, and then I send you this book that's like cartoon.
No, I totally read, like I said, in between all of my darks, those are the kinds of books that I go for. So it's perfect.
Which most people don't know this because they haven't read it yet, but my book is it's heartbreaking. It looks so sweet, and you're like, oh, I'm getting puppies. And then I give you I'm going to break your heart. I'm going to shred it and stomp on it. I'll put it back together again. But I'm waiting for the reviews for people to be like, what the heck? And nobody said anything yet. They must not have read it, but I know they're going to be like, this is not sweet. And I'm like, well, yeah, it isn't. Nope. So
She teared up. So that's a hard thing to do.
it was a hard book to write. I know you lost your brother last year. I lost my brother 2 years ago, and I lost my brother to drunk driving. And so that was a healing book to write, and I wrote it a year ago during so much pain and grief. And I think your brother died at the same time. I was going through that and writing that, and I just like my heart breaks when someone near me loses a sibling because I know what that feels like, and it is the most excruciating pain, especially when it's sudden.
Sudden and
Hello, we're so young. We're so young. We should not be losing our siblings in their 30s.
right.
Absolutely not. And so that was a kind of a cathartic write for me, is to write that and put that out there. And so how has that worked for you in your books? Because I know you've been navigating through pain and grief as well. How do you feel like you pour that into writing, or how do you kind of get through hard times?
I cannot write like if I'm having a bad day. It took me, I was on a deadline, which right when I found out that my brother had passed, and I have I can't go past my deadlines, like you have to follow through. So that was very, very, very challenging. And I think I didn't publish as much this last year because it's been very hard
Yeah.
um, to get back into writing and to,
Yeah.
I feel like it's just hard to like know that the world is moving on when something so big happened. Do you know what I mean?
It's like you're drowning and people are handing you puppies as you drown. And you're like,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm dying over here and you're at Starbucks getting a coffee.
Yeah,
It's the
exactly.
worst feeling ever. And it's so lonely, I think, too.
It is. It's very, very lonely. And especially because you kind of feel like people kind of get tired of hearing about it, Like so yeah, it's very lonely. Um but writing is a good escape, and I have been able to kind of channel a lot of those emotions into my books. Um but yeah, it's very, very hard. It's hard to move on.
You wrote so much this past year after that I was just like, I didn't know how you did it. I didn't know how you did it.
I don't know how many books I released. When I first started writing, I did like nearly a book a month. Like I
Yeah.
was just cranking them out.
How did you
And
do that?
I have no idea. Like I felt like I had these stories inside of me for so long that it was just like go, 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 go. And then after I started burning myself out, and then when my brother passed, I was like, okay, I'm burned out. So I think I only released like maybe 4.
That's still a lot.
It's still a lot, but it's like such a huge, downshift for me.
And they were so good. I mean, so good. And so, what are you currently working on?
I have a book coming out in November.
November?
Uh, yes, I know. I'm insane, but it was part of a project that I could not pass up on because Jenica Snow is heading it, and there are such amazing authors in this blurred lines, and it's like blurring the lines between right and wrong. So it's taboo. It's
Is it on
uh,
Amazon for pre-order yet?
yeah, it's called Bad for a Weekend.
Ooh, I'm gonna
It
put the link in here for them.
Okay. It's a bodyguard romance. She's 18, he's like 35, so it's age gap. Uh, and it's been everything to me the last few months. I've been so just wrapped up in it. It was hard for me to take a break just to release this one because I just wanted to keep going, keep writing. It's so good.
That would have been hard. Oh, I see it. Bad for a weekend. Okay. So I'm gonna put the link in here so you guys can grab it. Oh man, and if you're watching this on social platforms, we'll put the link over there as well. Um, this looks fabulous. I'm glad I asked you that. I'm gonna pre-order this right now.
Thank you.
Amazing. So you have okay. So tell us, Owen Rollins. He's handsome.
Yeah.
Okay, have you seen the funny TikToks where they're like, it's that one where it's like, there's a van and it has candy and the dog's like, I love vans, I love candy. You know what I'm talking about? I would
That
totally
one.
get in that van. And no, you don't get in that van. That's a bad van. Oh, okay. You don't get in that van. Well, there's this woman and she's sitting there and they're like, hey, the police put out, an APB that, there's a 6 foot, 200 pound bald con man loose. And she's like, ooh, tell me more. and he's, and they're like, he's really bad. She's like, how bad? And, and then at the end, she's like, send him my way. And they're like, no, he's really dangerous. And she's like, I love dangerous. And so it's like a mimic off of that dog in the candy van. And so at the end, it's like, when you work in law enforcement and that's really not sexy. but when you're dark taboo romance, you're like, ooh, I love con men.
Exactly.
You should make a TikTok of that.
I should.
I'll try to find that and send it to you so you can remake it. But it was really funny. And it reminded me of your books because I always joke with Christy after I went through like an MC binge-a-thon last winter, and I binge read like all of your books and her books on motorcycle clubs, and then I was like Googling motorcycle club books. I would see bikers here in Tulsa, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I wonder if we could go hang out." And Chrissy's like, "No, we don't really hang out with them. They're not really cool like that in real life. Like, no."
That's what my kids say because Reno is actually like there's a lot of motorcycle clubs around here, and I always see them. Actually, I think in one of my books, it might be Bexley's. Yeah, I dedicated it to all of the bikers that I hang out at our local gas station. They just congregate there.
I think a
I
funny
dedicated
TikTok for you would be to take them to the gas station and make it a game to how many books you can take pictures with their bikes without them coming out to yell at you. They'd be coming out with a gun. You'd be like, "Just kidding. I'm a romance writer, I swear."
I try and like go and talk to them, and my kids are like, "Mom, you cannot do that.
Absolutely,
They
Misty. Don't do that.
to do with you. Like, stop." I'm like, I think they would be really interested. And there's like a motorcycle fest here like once a year, and every time it comes around, I'm like, I should go set up a table. I think I would sell a lot of books. And they're like, no, no,
Oh my gosh.
not living in reality, lady.
I mean, I do think it would be funny to go and like do like a prank. I think that would be a funny TikTok series actually. And you can make Insta Reels and make a whole like highlight of it. Like, this is like the funniest concept, but don't really talk to them. just like do 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 do, take a selfie with their bikes and then run.
I don't run anywhere.
I know. If you see me running, you should run too. There's probably a biker with a machete chasing me because I tried to take a selfie with their bike.
Exactly.
You know who else wrote a really good biker romance it's like not dark, but it's good. You know who Penny Reed is? I'm sure you know who Penny Reed is. But she has this one that's a biker one, and it's the Winston brothers, and
I've seen the covers, but I didn't realize her motorcycle romance.
Well, not all of them, but there's one that is like at the tail end that. Okay, I gotta figure out which one that is, but it's so good, and it's so bad, and I'm like, this does not fit with the others, but it's like a motorcycle, and it's like an age gap kind of. They're older, and I don't want to spoil anything for those watching, but just look up those Winston brothers, and one of them is, I think it's the 8th one, is the motorcycle one, and I think you'd like it.
I think all of hers are on Audible, so I'll have to check it out.
Okay, that one would be really good on Audible because they're funny and they're nerdy, and she writes outside the box too.
Yeah.
They're not really dark. That one kind of is, and he's like borderline stalker biker dude, and not really necessarily the greatest guy. And I don't know, I really like that. But it was like, this was different from the others. It was a motorcycle club book, but I really liked it.
Well, I'm going to check it out because I haven't had a good motorcycle read in a little while, so it's time.
It is time. I have an idea for a whole series of motorcycle club book. I'm not even near ready on the roster to push that one out because I have like 4 books ahead of that one. But I keep thinking about ideas and I write it down. And I'm like, I really want to write this series someday. But I can't like read any more motorcycle club books because then I'm worried that those ideas will go into those books. I'm like, no. So I like have to like clean it all out and then write it. So anyway, how do you organize your story ideas?
Well, good question. I don't think I really did until just recently. Like when I first started, I was just kind of like, oh, I'll do that and I'll do that. And everything was all over the place. But now that I've kind of like settled where I'm at, I'm a little bit more strategic about it. I plan things out a little bit better. So for the first time ever, next year, I have all of my releases planned out. And that's like huge for me because
that's awesome.
I am not a planner.
Yeah. So I have talk about what you have coming up.
Yeah, I have a motorcycle club series, a new one.
Yes.
But you did meet this club in the Royal Bee books.
Okay.
The Sons of Erebus. And I have the logo made, and I'm so excited. I have all the characters in my head already, and written out because
Okay, so that was the one
Mhm.
where they kind of battled a little bit, but then they didn't. They came together on peace, but
Yeah,
they like, well, they
in Riley's
boy,
biker.
they like totally killed one of them. They were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, FAFO." Like I was like, "Wow, Misty, you just did away with the bartender. He's gone."
yeah.
And that's what I love because I also love Sons of Anarchy too, and I could rewatch that. I love that, and some of that was really hard to watch. That was really violent in some places.
Opie, I will
Oh,
never get over that
oh,
scene. Never in a million years will I ever get over seeing Opie die. Like,
nope.
I never will,
There was
ever.
so many heartbreak, like the one where his daughter was burned.
Mm,
Mm. But that's I think I fell in love with motorcycle clubs with that, and then I discovered like Kristen Ashley books, and then I was like, okay, and then I started falling down a rabbit hole with darker motorcycle club books, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, it's cool. Motorcycle clubs are cool, and then my husband's like, no, we don't. Anyway, so I love them. So I'm really excited that you have a new series coming out for that.
yes. And then in between, I'm going to be releasing more
Yep.
Songs of Sin
I
books.
love that you have more coming out, and I love that you have playlists. So if you guys are like me, nerdy, I have playlists for everything because that's what I do. Inside her book, she has all her songs, and of course, I had to go download the playlist and listen to it. So you can go to Spotify and get her playlist for that as well.
Yes. So we have Gracie's book coming out, and also Dax's best friend's book will be out this next year. So I'm super excited.
Oh, and I can't wait. I just love like I have your sticker on my cart here. I love your logo for this. I love like the I don't know. I just love all the branding for this too. Do you have your covers ready for those yet?
I do not. No.
Oh, I'm so excited. And you just have the coolest. I love that you have reading lists. If you guys order from her website, she has all kinds of goodies that she sends out too. She has the best pens. I know she's
Best pen.
best.
Hear that, Christy Webster?
Hear that, Christy? No. Kay Webster also has really good pens too, so that's like an inside joke. I actually ordered pens from there too. I need to send you some. Mine
Yeah.
are mine are white, and I just picked like a neutral color because I knew I was gonna do purple and white. But anyway, if you order anything from her site, she has really good swag. I love your TikToks where you're always filling boxes and packaging orders, and you have the coolest setup. I'm like, oh, I'm like a little kid where you want to go over to your friend's house just to see what their room's like, and you want to be like, what's in your boxes? What do you have in your drawers? What stickers are you giving out? And I don't have this. I can't show you the stickers because they're on. Actually, I might have some because they're on my cart. I put all the stickers I get on my cart because they make me happy. Oh, I actually have an envelope that you gave me before. And Misty has the coolest stuff ever. Like, look at these magnets.
Some of them you might not be able to show.
Oh, wait, yep. No,
Those ones are safe.
yeah, okay. And then some of them, this is really funny. So if you order from her site, she has some really cool stuff. So if you like motorcycle club books, she got the stickers and they're shiny. So
Yeah.
just a little plug there for your site. So author Misty Webster, Misty Webster, MistyWalker.com. We were talking about Kay Webster. She's on my brain now. So also, what advice would you have for an aspiring author?
Be ready to put in the work because it looks like, oh, you just write a book and release it, but
Yeah.
there is so much that you can't even imagine that you have to do. Being an indie author, marketing and ads and cover design and
Yep.
interior design, like there is so much that goes into it. Be ready to spend a lot of time on social media, like way more than you think. Um,
Do you
and
want to hear
yeah, just
something funny? When I started writing last year and I met Christy, I was like, I don't want to. I just want to like hide in my cave and write books, and that's all I really want to do. And she was like, okay, well then, how do you sell the books? And I was like, I don't know. Amazon. And she's like, yeah, well, how do people find them on Amazon? And I was like, I don't like this game anymore.
Yeah.
And then that's when I realized, oh, this is really hard. So
I've
you're
seen a
absolutely
lot of new authors come and go because you don't realize how much goes into it. You have to be ready to
when
work.
I built my YouTube channel 5 years ago, I mean, I think I made content for 2.5 years before I made a penny. And that's a long time to work with no paycheck.
Yeah.
And I remember people saying, "Oh, I want to start a YouTube channel," and I would say, "Okay, but you're not going to make any money for like years, and you're going to have to work at like a full-time job." And they're like, "Why would you do that?" And I'm like,
Yeah.
"That's a really good question." So the
Hope it
long
pays.
game is what's important, not the short game. I would think
Yes.
you don't have a long game with this. Like you can't see yourself playing with grandkids someday while you still make money from book sales and have all these beautiful books out there that hopefully your grandkids don't read until they're like 25.
Mhm.
You definitely won't make it long term in this because it's definitely a long game.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it takes literally thousands of dollars to put a book out. I think my first paycheck was $135,
Yeah,
not even enough to pay for any part of it.
yeah,
So, it's taken until now where I'm finally, like, contributing to my household. I was really lucky my husband, provides for our family, but now I'm finally at the point 3 some odd years later where I can contribute, to the household, and it feels really good, and, yeah. But
yeah.
it took a while. It
It
took a
does take
while.
a while. So where else can we find you and support you online?
I am on I'm everywhere. I'm everywhere. I have the strongest presence on TikTok just because that's easiest for me. I'm on Facebook, Twitter. Twitter, I don't really mess with too often, um, and Instagram.
Do you have a Facebook reader group?
I do. It's called Misty Walker's Thirsty Readers.
Okay, so you guys can follow her there too. And also, like I said, be sure to follow Misty here on Amazon so that you don't miss out on any of her upcoming releases. That's really important. I know when I fall in love with an author and then I go back, I'm like, oh no, you wrote 3 books and I didn't even know. And Misty does publish a lot of books a year and you won't want to miss any of them. So be sure to follow her. If you click on her book and go to her author page, you just hit follow and then you won't miss out on any of her releases.
Yay.
Okay, well, you guys grab Gracie's Mom today. I highly recommend the paperback. Just so beautiful. But if you read ebooks, you can grab it on ebook below, too, or both. If you're a geek like me and read both. Will you have audio for these?
I'm hoping to have audio for those. I'm working on getting through, my biker books first, and then hopefully it'll follow. That's
Yay!
another really
Oh,
big
another reason to follow her here and over on her website and TikTok and all the places so you don't miss out. Thank you so much for joining me today. This was so much fun.
finding me.
Okay, stand by one moment. Amazon, be sure to hit that follow button. I have way more authors interviews coming up and you won't want to miss them. Bye, guys.